Mr. Speaker, this shouldn't be a controversial topic, and my hope is that folks on both sides of the aisle will be able to support this common sense amendment. House Democrats should support this amendment because it provides the White House increased flexibility to tap more oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when necessary. House Republicans should support this amendment because this modest 5% increase in flexibility for the SPR also allows a modest 5% increase to responsibly produce American energy on federal lands through the plan required by this bill. Having said that, this amendment doesn't mandate increased energy production. It just slightly modifies the cap. If the White House still only wants to utilize 10% from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and only wants the increase in federal energy production on federal lands to be 10%, this amendment still allows that flexibility. It's far past time we stopped begging foreign dictators to produce oil and gas for America. America makes the cleanest energy in the world. In fact, our natural gas is 42% cleaner than Russian natural gas. American innovation has allowed America to be the global leader in reducing emissions since the year 2000. We should be producing the energy Americans need right here in the good old US of A. Yet, on President Biden's watch, we've seen a 40% increase in gas prices. In order to help combat their significantly flawed energy strategy, the White House raided the Strategic Petroleum Reserves by more than 40%. My amendment prevents this type of abuse while slightly increasing the amount of oil that can be drawn from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve during an actual emergency, like President Trump did. The root causes of this record-breaking inflation were trillions of dollars of wasteful spending federally and unnecessary attacks on American energy. The Biden administration waged an all-out war on American energy production. Biden shut down the Keystone XL pipeline on day one of his administration, imposed new rules to block pipeline projects, canceled oil and gas leases on millions of acres in Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico, suspended oil drilling leases in a small sliver of the even though Congress passed a law for this very purpose. He imposed a moratorium on new federal oil and gas leases on federal lands, failed to meet the statutory deadlines for quarterly lease sales, and took countless other anti-energy measures that have contributed to increased gas prices and inflation reaching record levels. The only reason oil and gas permits on the federal land are being approved at nearly the same rate during the Biden administration as during the Trump administration is because of the permitting reforms put in place by the Trump administration. In essence, they had a head start. This administration also likes to try and take credit for supporting oil and gas production, but the reality is this occurred in spite of them, not because of them. In fact, much of this production has occurred on private lands where producers aren't stifled by federal policies and moratoriums. In 2020, the National Ocean Industries Association found that Joe Biden's proposal to ban new offshore oil and gas drilling in federal waters would kill approximately 200,000 jobs, cost the federal government billions of dollars of revenue, and pushed production to foreign adversaries. Furthermore, and despite the exaggerations from the administration's domestic production reached its highest point ever in 2020 while President Donald J. Trump was in office with over 13 million barrels of oil produced a day. We all want clean air, we all want clean water, but we also want lower gas prices and good paying jobs right here in America. We can have it all as responsible energy production and conservation are not mutually exclusive goals. My amendment strikes the right balance. Again, it allows for responsible emergency use of the Strategic Petroleum Reserves while also allowing for responsible American energy production on federal lands. I urge adoption of this amendment, and with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.